Hi everyone, welcome back to the collaborative show. And I'm sure that you guys know already that I'm going to be the host for the day. My name is Pallabi and I'm a dentist who is interested in marketing. And today I have a very special guest with me who's joining us from the UK. Welcome, Zara ma'am.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Hi ma'am, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you? Nice to be on your show. Thank you for
I'm good.
having me.
All right, ma'am. So just to give a brief introduction about you, ma'am. So you are, you have your own initiative which is called INU Matters. So could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, ING Matter is what I think is a global organization that I set up a few months ago when I came onto LinkedIn to try and help a friend. I like to help
Okay.
people, and I'm also growing leaders in mindset level 3 and above who found their purpose and passion so that they can set up their own organizations and hopefully grow in business. So that's mainly the gist of it. I do supply quite a lot of learning material. And yeah, I'm here to help. I like helping people. I like connecting people. I'm fairly approachable. So yeah, just come and ask me. I don't always have to get hold of me on DMs, but there's always somebody, and you can always drop me a comment on a post and I'll get back to you.
Right, right. I have actually seen that. So the last time we spoke for almost 45 minutes, and that was the first time that we were, e-meeting. It was a wonderful conversation. So just by, observing that, I realized that, okay, you are someone who is approachable and who definitely likes connecting with other people. So that's something that I enjoy as well. And that's why I would like to ask all of our viewers to let us know where they're joining in from because honestly, that's one of my favorite parts, to know that people are joining in and they're watching our show from different parts of the globe. So there's just something about time zones and countries that, really, it just intrigues me.
It's incredible, isn't it? Yeah, what the power of internet's doing these days. Even though we're in
Right.
lockdown, it's bringing people together. So yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if the pandemic had not happened, I wouldn't have imagined meeting someone like you. Uh, so,
Yeah,
yeah, in a
hallelujah.
way, it's for a reason.
Yeah, everything happens
So,
for a reason. I believe that too.
yeah, yeah. So, ma'am, just to, dive into the topic, I was thinking about conditioning, which is what we're going to be talking about majorly today.
Yeah.
And to people who aren't aware of what conditioning is there an example that you could cite which could, make it easier to comprehend?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I wrote about this actually a while back ago, because the first time I thought about what I wanted to do, you play doctors and nurses when you're little and you think, oh, I want to help people. We all do that, don't we? And then somewhere
Right, right.
down the line, somebody said that being a doctor was successful. So I got into my head I had to be a doctor. And I think that was from the age of 10. And I even stopped to think whether I wanted to be a doctor or not. It was like, no, I need to be a doctor. Everybody says I have to be a doctor. So in my country where I come from, which is Iran, you either have to be a doctor or an engineer to be successful. And so, yeah,
Right.
I studied hard. I was averaging grades of 19 and a half out of 20 or 18 and a half out of 20. And that's averaging like 17 subjects to become a doctor. And then one day when I was 16, something awful happened. And I thought, no, I don't want to be a doctor anymore. And I thought, well, what do I want to be? And I thought, well, actually, I really don't know. I really don't know. Where did this doctor come from? Um,
Right.
and I think that's one of the first times I thought, well, was I conditioned to think I want to be a doctor? And what is it I want to do? And I think so many of us in life just take on other people's values. We believe education matters over some other passion we have. And maybe we want to drill a hole. Maybe we don't want to. I don't mean that as being a dentist, because that's what dentists do. But maybe you want to drill a hole in the ground, not in someone's tooth. But we get it into our head
Right.
we have to be a dentist or a doctor, and then we just do it, don't we? And that's what I mean by conditioning.
Right, right. So, uh, it's funny that you're having this conversation with me because I'm a dentist and I have been in a society where everyone around me wanted to be either a doctor or an engineer. So, the same in India, that most people, most families, the societal pressure, it's of a level where you feel compelled to think that, okay, this is something that's my decision. So, you fail to see that it's something that you're probably being influenced to do.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think things are changing now. And so in India, at least, we see more of people, going into um, creative arts or things like that without hesitating. So I'm glad that that's a change that's coming up. And that makes me wonder, ma'am, is do you think emotional intelligence has a part to play when it comes to conditioning? Do you think that if we have a higher EQ, we could probably, identify the fact that we are being influenced and the path that we're choosing is, well, something that we don't want to do?
Well, emotional intelligence is a very good one. It's something that we all need to be successful. So I
Mhm.
would say definitely, if you haven't studied it, definitely put it on your list, because anybody who's in top tier management is always encouraged to study it anyways. It
Right.
helps you to deal with people. And the
Mhm.
reason it helps you deal with people is because it helps you deal with yourself. So
Right.
when you're involved in a conversation and something gets to you and you think, I'm a bit upset about this, my boss said this, I'm not quite sure how to handle myself here, or do I want to run away into the bathroom or cry, or am I just going to stand up and shout back, and that's when it comes into play. And you just have to step away and go, let me take a breath, let me gather myself. Why did he say that? Why did that get to me? Has he got a problem? Have I got a problem? Am I self projecting? But going
Right.
back to the conditioning, it is a case of going back to yourself and going, what is it I want? Why did this get to me? It's understanding that feeling. And so getting rid of conditioning half the time is kind of what I call a shadow. It's having to deal with shadows and shadows and shadows and stripping them off. And then somewhere down the line, you go, actually, I need to write about this. I need to write stuff down. And then somewhere down the line, you find your authentic self. And when you find your authentic self, it's almost like going back to being 7 years old. And then you remember you used to like to paint and draw and write and, play
Mhm.
and help people. And, what did you do when you were 7 years old when some child bullied your friend? You stood up to that bully, didn't you? Or you went and told the teacher. And what do we do now in
Right.
the corporate world? What do we do in the corporate world? We run and hide in the bathroom. We go, shh, be quiet. You shouldn't have
Mhm.
cried. Gather yourself. That's the client, and that's the conditioning that happens to us. And it's stepping away and going, actually, people matter. My friend's upset here. The boss is horrible to her.
Mhm.
Or, the client shouldn't have said this or that. And it's defending your honor. It's getting those boundaries sorted out. It's that self-respect that half the time we just give away, don't we? We've sold it to the
Right.
client, sold it to ourselves, to the boss, to the corporate world, to, I don't know, the next door neighbor, even if you like. And it's recognizing that. So yeah, it definitely has a hand to play in the matter.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense because, what you said about self projection. I have realized that, personally speaking, I have realized that as I grow older, I become more aware of the fact that this is how I feel and this is not how the other person feels. And I'm just, projecting my feelings onto somebody else.
Mhm.
So I think uh, you're right. Emotional intelligence does have an important role to play, especially when it comes to how mature you become and the kind of decisions that you make. You start to see that, like you said, that, somebody else is probably guiding you right now and pushing you to a path where you don't belong. So, ma'am, I just wanted to know that in case this happens, it happens to most of us. We often tread a path that's not for us.
Mhm.
How do we go about unlearning and, sort of just relearning these things? How do we break the cycle where, we've been conditioned to do something, but how do we get out of it?
It's a very good question. I think it really comes down to having a lot of quiet time. So it's almost
Okay.
like where you come to the crossroad and you go, I'm not quite sure which way to go. Actually, what is it I want? I'm really confused. I've had all
Mhm.
this, I've worked so hard. Take me, for instance, I waited 4 years to go to university. I did all sorts of
Right.
things because I thought I had to wait to go to university. I went to university 2 years in. I thought, actually, no, I don't like this. I want to drop out. And then I thought, well, I've waited 4 years. Now I've got 2 years under my belt. I'm almost there. I'm halfway there, but it's really 6 years. It's not really 2 years to me. So do I finish this or do I start all over again? And it's almost like you have to have that conversation with yourself and say, well, is it worth it to carry on? Do I need to get a certain goal? Am I better off just pushing myself forward and finishing this? Or do I just go, right, no? What's best for you? And only you know what's the right answer. How much debt are you in? How much debt are you going to get in and carry on? Will it help you to get that job? Will it get you on some corporate ladder that's going to then introduce you to somebody, which then, who knows, some ripple effect, and you might actually meet somebody? Those are personal choices, but it's quiet time. It's deciding what is it you want to do, looking at your path ahead, working out, well, is this feasible? Can I do it now? Or is this something I build upon? Do I need to go and get another job? Do I need to, I don't know, go and become a cleaner? What if, who cares? What if I skip the road? But on the side, I can grow my business. And it's in line with this purpose and passion, and I'm going to enjoy it. And it's just baby steps, getting there. That determination when you found that purpose and passion to just go forward, not give up. And it doesn't matter what people think. If you don't care what other people think, you don't let it get to you. You just be like, okay, I'm studying emotional intelligence while I'm sweeping the road. And you, sir, you might be laughing at me right now, but I'm going to be your boss one day, or your son's boss one day. And it's having that self-belief that lets you get there.
Great. So, ma'am, actually, this reminded me of a post that I read on LinkedIn. Now, I'm not sure about who the author is, so I'm sorry I won't be able to give you the credit, but it went something like this. So, a businessman, he sees a fruit vendor or something like that, just, lying there on the road and resting. So he goes to him and he says that, why are you resting? It's still daytime, you can sell more fruits. So then the vendor says, okay, what next? Then he says that, okay, you can probably have have your own chain, you can have your franchisee, and there will be so many people working under you. And it just goes on and on like that.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is that, the businessman, he says that, okay, you can, like I said, you can have your own empire. And then the fruit vendor says, okay, so what after that? So then the businessman says that, okay, you once you have your own empire, then you'll be able to rest. You won't have to work. So then the guy says, okay, what am I doing right now? So, to start with, he was already resting. And the businessman just, I was just talking about how perspective is so different. So, he was comfortable with relaxing at that time. But just because the other guy was from a corporate world, he had that vision in his head that, you have to keep working, working, working. And only then do you deserve that rest time. So, like what you were talking about, that having different goals, that's it's important to realize that your goals can be very distinct, and you shouldn't compare yours to the other people.
You definitely shouldn't compare yourself. I just say it shrinks you. When you sit there and go, my next door neighbor's got this BMW and that Mercedes, and I need this and I need that, and then you try and push yourself to get to whatever, and you don't know that person's happy. You don't know what's going on in their house. You just see that car and you just assume that they're happy. You have no clue what goes on next door. And so we start comparing ourselves, and then we think we need an Armani jacket, or I don't know, some Gucci handbag, and we start putting the hours, debt, and then we need an iPhone just because everybody else has got one. The only thing we need to compare ourselves with our version of yesterday and go, am I better today? Or do I want to be better tomorrow? What can I do to improve myself? And this is what I always say to my son when he's made a mistake. I never have a go at him. I never say, how dare you do this? I'm really cross with you. I'm like, okay, you did X, Y, and Z wrong. What else, what else do you think was right? You did all these things right, okay? You did one thing wrong. Do you know what that was? How can you improve? And then we'll have a conversation. And through that, he'll then tell me what he wants to do. And that's how I prefer to grow leaders. I don't want to tell people what to do. I want to say, where are you in life? What is it you want? You work out what it is you want, and let's work together and try and help you get there. But you need to have that determination, and you can't just wake up one day and go, I don't feel like getting out of bed. You have not found your purpose if you're behaving like that. You will have a drive like me. You wake up at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, and you don't know why you're waking up, but you just are, and you have to do it.
Right. Understood. But now, so you said that you let your students find their way. You let them understand where they're going wrong and how to fix it, because you don't want to tell them
No,
what to do, what not to do. But
no.
how many times, do they actually successfully come up with something that's worthwhile, something that you think that, okay, this person actually spent time and they've come to the right conclusion?
Well, I think at the time of Corona right now, we have people in
Mhm.
different camps. We have people who are looking for jobs. Really, literally, they need to feel safe. They need
Right.
they need to sort out their security first. Now, those aren't the kind of people I can particularly help because they're not in mindset level 3. Mindset level 3 is I'm safe, I've got enough backup. I can do this because what we're operating here isn't something you'll be making money straight away. Like, I'll be honest with you, it's almost like anything, like going to university. Instead of getting into debt, well, you're not getting into debt, but you're learning, and you kind of imagine you're breaking even really, and you're learning at the same time. So you do need some kind of job on the side that helps you get there. This is what I'm saying: do a job and learn at the same time.
Right, right.
It's up to you how many hours you put in. Then you have the people who are already doing a job and then they have spare hours to spend in the evening. And they want to come and comment on posts. I'm like, well, instead of commenting on my post, why don't you post your own post? I'll come and support you. Let me help you grow you. Let's find you a gathering. Decide what it is that you're interested in talking about. Is it about your job? What's your added value? How can you help people? Are you interested in the environment? Are you instead interested in the education? Maybe you've got some
Mhm.
knowledge that you can get that you've got that you'd like to pass on to others. Show others how you can help them. And even those people who are looking for a job who want to change of career, and they have an added value, well, if they tell us what their added value is, great. Let's start growing you. But you need to be somewhere safe in your head. You need to be able to talk through to people, which is what I'm talking about being in mindset level 3. Now, that's something you were quite interested
Right.
in knowing more about, wasn't it, when we had that chat?
Yeah, right, right, right. I was actually going to ask you something about the mindset levels, but I know that it's too deep a topic to, discuss within the short time frame that we have. But could you like briefly tell us a little bit about the mindset levels?
Okay, so mindset level 1 is what I'm talking about. Life happened to me is when you lose your job. You go, I've lost my job. My car crashed, God forbid. So and so died. My dog, I don't know, got pneumonia. Or whatever. It's in that time of somebody got corona. We're talking about life happened to me. And then you get down
Right.
in the dumps and you sit and cry. You feel sorry for yourself, or you can mope. And I know people who can mope and mope and mope. They're almost got a degree in moping. But what you need to do is go, right, okay, I've accepted this. It
Mhm.
happened. Life happens. Let's
Right.
forgive myself. Let's forgive myself and say, okay, let's work out why it happened. Not just it happened. Well, how did I let this happen? Not that they did it to me, just that I allowed it. 'Cause you know what? You've got 3%
Mhm.
um, blame in the matter. So 3% of whatever happened to you, even though you think it's not your fault, you let it happen to you. You still had some kind of mini choice. So accept your part, forgive yourself, and go, okay, how can I make sure this never happens again? And then I don't know who's into ITIL capacity management, whoever's done that kind of professional, but it's
Right.
capacity management in a way to say, right, what can I do to make sure this doesn't happen again? It's looking at those
Mhm.
risks, looking at those issues, and going, right, maybe I need to have 500 quid in the bank. Maybe I need to get my car repaired. Maybe I didn't take its oil, or I ran out of petrol, or I should set off earlier. I don't know. There's something you can do. And then draw a line underneath and go, right, from now on, I've learned from this and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. So this is not going to happen to me again. And then
Mhm.
you're at mindset level 2. You make that change and you move forward and you go, right, today's a new day. It's a new beginning. Forget yesterday. What happened, happened.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to let it happen again. And then you move
Right.
forward. But you're
Mhm.
still not in a position to be growing your business in the service level model. So you have to
Mhm.
carry on and make those little changes to the point where you kind of start feeling a little bit more secure in yourself.
Mhm.
Maybe get that backup money behind you, fill that bank account in case, in case, in case. So you can be in a position to then start learning, maybe working, maybe growing your business, and not keep falling into those pitfalls.
Mhm.
And
Right.
so when you're at mindset level 3, you're almost talking about management. Imagine you're working for a corporate company, you've got people working underneath you, and you tell people in a boardroom that you want X, Y, and Z to happen, and off they go and they tell their people. So you're kind of helping people or getting to people through people, and that's mindset level 3. So when I talk to the leaders or the people that I'm talking to, and then they go off and talk to other people, and then they talk to other people. Imagine how LinkedIn works. You have a route of second to third removed, don't you? So you've got your number ones that see your post, your number two removed, and now and again you might even get somebody who's third removed. Now and again, just making the odd comment. They can see your post. So I don't know if that answers any of your questions.
No, it did. It did. I mean, thank you for explaining it briefly. So, like I said, I know that there's more to this, and I would probably love to deep dive into this. I mean, probably later because we're out of time.
Okay.
But ma'am, to wrap up, I just like to know: do you have anything that you want to share? Any words of wisdom with our viewers?
Well, how much time have I got? Really, it really depends on time.
uh, Maybe 2 minutes.
Well, I wrote a piece on learning, so I don't know if you want me to read that to you. That might fill in your time. I don't know if you want to call it wisdom, but it's something that you may not have seen because you're fairly new to my network. Apologies to those who've seen this before. So I wrote about learning, and I said, let's talk education. I'm referring to school and college, perhaps even university and further education. Why do we go to that school? The one our parents chose for us? Did we have a choice in the matter, or was it something that happened? What did you do when you were there? Did you go there to stand in a line? Did we go there to learn how to care, discover what works when making friends? What did you learn? Is that where the foundations of bullies were laid? Or is that where somewhere perhaps when you were broken? Did you learn how to add 2 and 2 is 4? Or did we learn that the sky is the limit when you can paint that beautiful picture? Did they encourage that passion? Did they say, stop now, it's time for history? And history repeated itself. Is it too late? Or do you still want to find that diamond? Where must we go to find it? Where are raw diamonds? Who helped to shape those diamonds? And who did that cutting? Perhaps it may have even been a watch. What are the problems you face as a result of the schooling you had? Did you learn that what you learned and find it useful in life? What part of it still applies to your life? What were the gaps you learnt afterwards? What can be changed and how? And then it's just the ing matter definitions and ing matter. There you go.
Wow, that is beautiful. I mean, I think that's the perfect way to end the session. So thank you so much, ma'am. What you spoke, I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure that the viewers did too. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you for having me on the show. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.